Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Press Enterprise High School Football Video Podcast. I'm Press Enterprise Sports Editor Tim Hare, and we did it. We got him. It's Assistant Editor Dan Reilly. How'd we get him?
You landed the big fish, Hare.
We got the white whale. What's going on, Squirrel Bait?
Well, another day, another dollar here at the salt mines.
Absolutely.
I like it.
So we're going to talk a little local high school football. First, we're going to talk about last week's games.
Yes.
What to you was the biggest surprise from last week?
It might actually be that Danville game.
Yeah, how about it?
To put up 42 in the first half? I don't think anyone saw that coming.
Yeah, I I was at my game. I covered Bloom Muncie last week, and I was on Twitter checking scores, and I saw Danville scored 42 points, and I was like, how did this happen?
It was like something clicked for the Ironmen because I was obviously at that game. It was Danville's homecoming. They were playing with a lot of emotion. They were honoring a terminally ill homecoming queen by the name of Mackenzie Riley, and they were just fired up, and they wanted to prove that regardless of record, the northern tier for us is kind of an unknown, and I don't know if they really. Well, they did know what to expect because they had seen why losing last year, and they had their defense had a very good game plan against the running attack, in particular Luke Jennings, and as soon as the Ironmen made a couple plays, that was it. It was like a domino effect for him.
I think the biggest surprise for me, and that I picked Why losing to win that game.
Yeah.
So obviously I was surprised for Danville to win and to hang 42 on them.
Yeah.
Part of me would like to say Central was the big surprise with the way they were able to have a halftime lead on a very good Lewisburg team.
Yep.
But I think I was more surprised by Votech losing to Holy Cross. This is a Votech team that just a few weeks ago put together a string of 3 straight games of 30 or more points for the first time ever in program history.
Yep.
And now here the last 2 weeks they get shut out at Sayre.
Yep.
They score 8 points at Sayre rather, and they get shut out by Holy Cross. And they're struggling to even get 200 yards of offense. I'm not sure what's happening right now with that Votech offense.
I don't know either. I think they've got a good chance to change that this week against Bucktail at home on Saturday. I don't really know what's going on there either because you had the connection with John Bender was doing a great job out of the wide receiver set. It seemed like things were going well for the Rams, and maybe last week was a step back for him.
Yeah, it seemed like against Sayre they couldn't get the running game going.
Yeah.
But they ran the ball pretty well last week against Holy Cross. N.J. Williamowski went over 100 yards. They were able to move the ball on the ground, so it's just surprising that the passing game, which had been there, didn't sort of, develop off of the success of the running game.
Yeah, and even sitting at 2-4 right now, they still have, pretty good, decent shot of making some noise to get into the playoffs.
Well, this week's a must-win.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they want to win the league, they have to beat Bucktail. If
Yep.
they want to get to the playoffs, they have to beat Bucktail. Because you can kind of pencil in Carson Long as a win.
Yeah.
And then I believe they close with Mahanoy.
I think you're correct.
Yeah, so you got to win
You have
Carson
to win.
Long, and you have to win Bucktail.
Yeah, you have to win this week. Do you think the Rams turned it around this week?
I'm picking them to win.
Mhm.
Spoiler alert. But I'm not as confident as I would have been 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So looking ahead to this week, we've talked about Votech. What does that Southern win last week for them to put a 42-0 blowout on Mount Carmel? What does that say about Southern going forward? Is anyone going to beat them in the regular season?
I don't think so. No, I don't think there's a chance.
Lewisburg, Selinsgrove?
No. I mean, I think Southern's got too many weapons. If they find themselves in a situation where Selinsgrove is keeping it close, I don't think we had discussed this earlier in the week. You had done the math to see how many of Mercy Rule minutes Southern has played in, and it's
that was a The 2016. I was looking at that.
Okay.
Just for my own amusement.
Well, you know what? Either way, if they're still mercy ruling teams, if they find themselves in a situation where they have to play all their starters till the end of a game against Lewisburg, Selinsgrove, whatever the case might be.
You look at the numbers. They've scored 278 points this year. Only 20 in the fourth quarter because that's essentially garbage time.
Right. Yeah.
So that lends to your point about them playing in the mercy rule.
Yeah.
They're just hanging points on people early and then just resting the starters.
So
I don't know if that helps them or hurts them come playoffs.
That's a good point. I think maybe if they do find themselves in a situation where they play Lewisburg or Selinsgrove very tightly and the score is close, that's a big boost for their starters to be able to stay in for an entire game.
See, and I don't know that Lewisburg. I feel like that's a bad matchup for Lewisburg.
Yeah,
I don't feel like their line matches up physically with Southern's. They have great position or great talent at the skill positions, but up front, I feel like Southern can just dominate them a little bit.
Yeah,
I feel like that Selinsgrove. If there is one game that Southern's going to get tripped up on,
it's going to be that one.
It's going to be that one because Javon Batts might be the best running back in the Heartland.
Absolutely.
Either him or Marty Clark.
Yep.
And they have, pretty good line play.
Yep.
Defensively, they're tough. But even that game, like going into it, I think Southern can win by 2 touchdowns.
I think so too.
I think it's a lot like last year's game.
I don't think you can solely rely on Javon Batts to win you that game if you're Selinsgrove. I think he can still do a lot, but at the same time...
now they do have other weapons.
Yeah. Yep.
I've seen Selinsgrove twice, and I've liked what I've seen from them, particularly on defense against Berwick. But Southern's offense is just at another level than Berwick's right now.
Yeah, it's like you said, another level, and it's going to be tough to stop that. They're well-rounded. They've got depth. Like we've discussed it all season. I don't think anyone beats Southern in the regular season.
Again, it would be a 4th straight year.
Yeah,
which is just unbelievable.
Yep.
Well, I believe that's all that we have for this week's podcast. But if you liked what you heard, we recorded one previously in the week with Matt Sokolowski where we were throwing lunch meat around in the parking lot.
And let me just say, let me apologize to our viewers here for a second. I was your cameraman for that, and
our awful cameraman.
Extremely bad. This is a tip for you at home. You don't want to hold the phone vertically. You want to do it horizontally. That way, the sports editor's head, along with Matt Sokolowski's head.
I'm also a tall. I'm 6'4", so it's easy to cut my head off.
Sure, but that way you avoid those situations. So let me apologize to the viewers. That one's on me.
These are the kind of production values you get on the Press Enterprise Football Podcast.
Always.
If you like shaky handheld cameras where my head gets cut off, feel free to check in with us next week. And please go to pressenterpriseonline.com for all the content that we provide, tweets from the games, links to our weekly playbook. It's all there, so go check it out. And until next week, we'll see you later. Don't do that.